What's up, everybody? Welcome to Geekheads channel. I'm KnifeB, like always, still haven't changed my name. And today I'm going to do the Studio Ghibli tier list. And I know some of you guys are like, didn't you do this already? And yes, I did. I did live stream where I ranked all the Studio Ghibli movies, but it's 1.5 hours. I'm not stupid. I know most of you guys haven't watched that and won't watch that because it's long and you guys don't want either have time for it or even more importantly have the patience for it. And I don't blame you, I won't either. So I decided I'm gonna also do this in a video format and try to make this somewhere closer to like 10 minutes. But anyways, before most of you click away, let's get straight to the tier list, shall we? Let's go. So here we have it, and I also told this on my live stream, but I haven't seen this, The Red Turtle, and it's not just a Studio Ghibli. It is a Studio Ghibli movie, but it's not only made by Studio. Anyways, point is I haven't watched it. There's no way for me to right now. I haven't found a way for me to watch it, so I'm not gonna rank it. There you go. But I watched all the other movies on this list. So let's start with the first one, which is My Neighbor Totoro. I think this is a great movie to start with because it's a classic. The thing is, I know most of you will probably hate my opinion on this, especially the ones who have seen this as a kid and have a nostalgic value for it. Personally, I don't. It wasn't like part of my childhood. Studio Ghibli and anime in general wasn't part of my childhood other than Dragon Ball. So it doesn't hold a nostalgic value for me. For that reason, I don't think it's one of the greatest movies. I think it's a fun family movie, very enjoyable. I'll probably put it here for now. I think that's pretty fair. Next, I'm gonna go to Nausicaa because this is the first Studio Ghibli movie. I'm just going in a random order, to be honest. I don't know what I'm doing, but who does? Anyways, it wasn't technically a Studio Ghibli movie, so fair enough. But it's the oldest movie from all of these, at least. Yeah, it's a classic. There's not much to hate about the movie. It's pretty much perfect. I'm just wondering if it's perfect enough to go 10 out of 10. I'm gonna put it here for now, and I might raise it at the end of the video, okay? It's just a classic. It gives me kind of vibes from Dune a lot. I'm gonna put it to 9.5 right now. Let's go next with Castle in the Sky, because I might be wrong, but isn't this technically the first Studio Ghibli movie if you don't count Nausicaa? Because Nausicaa was made before Studio Ghibli became a thing. I'm gonna put it to 9.5. I remember watching this movie and being so happy at the end. It was such a good, happy ending, I guess. Very enjoyable movie, you know? So yeah, I'm gonna put it there. I don't think it's a perfect movie. I don't think it's top of the notch, but I think 9 out of 10 is a fair rating for it. Next, let's go to a little bit something different. I'm gonna go with My Neighbor the Yamadas. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed this movie very much. It was a fun movie, but it's just simply not a real proper feature film, so it's unfair to rate with all these others. So I'm gonna put it to 4 out of 10. It's fun, but it's just not comparable. Let's put one underrated movie, and there's few of them, to be honest, but I'm gonna go with one that I think is an underrated movie, which is Only Yesterday. Personally, I really enjoyed it. It's an older movie. It's also something that a lot of people haven't seen. I think it was a great movie, okay? So I'm gonna put it to 8. Some of you might disagree, but especially the ending, and it has a great meaning for the story, kind of great message, and I love it when movies have that. So yeah, it's just amazing movie. I really do enjoy it, and I really think it's one of those underrated movies. So there we go. But let's go with something that I would say most of you probably agree with me. Not in a way that it's not enjoyable, but it's not on the same level as the others. Erwin and the Witch. I'm gonna put it here because it is an actual feature film. I just think the pacing was poor, and some of the character arcs was kind of dumb. Like they didn't tell much about the mom, and then she disappears at the start of the movie, and then she comes at the end and just like, what happens next? Nobody tells me, okay. And the main character kind of is like cocky at the start, and is like, I control everybody, and then at the end she proves that, yeah, it's actually true, I control everybody and do whatever I want. I don't know, it's a great message to tell children, especially when this is kind of like this family movie. You're trying to be kind of like a family movie, so I do have some problems with this movie, but I did enjoy it for the most part. Yeah, I'm gonna put it there, 5 out of 10. It's still on the middle, it's okay. I did enjoy My Neighbors the Yamadas more, but I still want to put this in front of My Neighbor the Yamadas just because it is an actual feature film. We still don't have anything on the 6 out of 10. I would probably say Tales from the Earthsea. This is probably what I would put here. I think this is the first Goro Miyazaki movie. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was a fun movie. It's also based on a novel, I think. But here is the same pacing problem. I don't know. It's with Goro Miyazaki, he has one movie that I really love, and we're gonna get to that. But with both of these movies, Erwin and the Witch and Tales from the Earthsea, it's just the pacing is the issue. It's better in this one than it is in Erwin and the Witch, but there's still some things where it's a long novel and he wants to get a lot of these details from the novel in it, so he kind of shows them in this movie, kind of like some of the details of the story, but then he doesn't have time to explain any of it, and it's just like I just have a lot of questions, and I never feel like I get the answer to any of those questions, you know. So, but anyways, let's continue and let's put something on the top, shall we? We've been waiting for the first 10 out of 10. Honestly, I don't think this is a surprise, but I'm gonna go with Princess Mononoke. It's pretty much a flawless movie. It's close to being a perfect movie. Deservedly one of the greatest Studio Ghibli movies. 10 out of 10 for me. What should we go next? Let's go with Ponyo, okay? Which I feel like is the newer version. Okay, this feels unfair to say, but like kind of like the newer version of Totoro. They're completely different movies, but there is some similarities, and both of them are like these family movies, and you know, a lot of people my age and older than me even used to watch Totoro as a kid, and it's like nostalgic movie for you guys. I feel like Ponyo is that movie for this newer generation, people that are kids now. I don't think it was just as good as Totoro, and here comes the problem, because I think it was better than Tale of the Sea, so I might have to do this. Let's leave Totoro a bit, and let's go something completely different. Let's go something super dark. Probably the saddest movie ever made. Like just a super sad movie. And you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm obviously talking about Porco Rosso. That's right, Porco Rosso, the saddest movie ever. I probably put it here somewhere like 7. I really enjoyed it. It's a good movie. It's a very enjoyable movie. It's not like the greatest, but it's an interesting world that they built for the movie. The main character is pretty cool. I think it's pretty funny. He almost gives me like Han Solo vibes. It's just a fun movie and fun world. So I think 7 is very fair. Also, I could probably be a bit safer even in this tier list, but I want to spice things up and have like some hot takes as well. So here is one of those hot takes, okay? Let's go with From Up on Poppy Hill. I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna put From Up on Poppy Hill to 9 out of 10. Some parts of the movie, I understand, I agree, they are weird, but yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I really enjoyed From Up on Poppy Hill. I don't know what to tell you guys. I just really enjoyed it. And it's just fun. Sometimes it kind of jumps between these two stories of like the whole parents and these guys' love triangle, and then the school thing is like a separate thing. But I think they unite those two stories very well at the end. I just think it makes perfect sense. I think the movie ties up very nicely at the end. I don't think it's too weird. I think it's very fun. I think it's easily the best movie that Goro Miyazaki has made. Yeah, it's great. It's not perfect, but I personally liked it very much, so I'm gonna put it here. Next, let's go with Pompoko. This is also, I feel like, a bit underrated movie, because people are just like, it's very weird, it's all about balls, you know, it's like, why testicles? I agree with you. Why the hell will they need to be testicles? It's very weird, but it's fun movie, amazing message, and it makes you really think, and it's cool how it's kind of like this happy fun movie at first, and then it kind of like gets darker and darker and darker, and at the end you're just kind of depressed. I think it's a very enjoyable movie, so I'm gonna put it to here, 7 out of 10. Next, let's go with Whisper of the Heart. This was an amazing movie as well. I really enjoyed it, but it's kind of like a slice of life movies. It doesn't have like the biggest like a story point. There's a lot of character development, and it's a very interesting movie, and there's twists and turns, and I very much enjoy this movie, but there's not like one of those main plot points, or if there is, I think I completely missed it, or I still remember it, which is also not probably a good thing. I'm gonna put it here. I think this is fair. Talking about Whisper of the Heart, let's go to the sequel of Whisper of the Heart. It's not really a sequel, but I think it's meant to be the book that the main character of Whisper of the Heart then ended up writing, and the movie is The Cat Returns. I don't know if this would be kind of harsh for this movie. Some people might dislike this opinion, but I don't think Tales from the Earthsea is a bad movie. I think Cat Returns is a better movie. There's one thing, and it is that there's not much stakes on this movie. I think it does lower it a bit, even though it's very enjoyable. It's not heart-wrenching, or it's not like very intriguing in that way. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, but yeah, very enjoyable movie, but I just don't think it's as good as these 3. Let's go with another 10 out of 10 at this point, because you guys are again getting like kind of tired, and you're like, where is a 10 out of 10? So, you know, I think it's time. I mean, it's gotta be the obvious one. I wanna put the obvios one there, Spirited Away. All the little details they put into this movie, the world that they created. The more times you watch it, you just catch these little things that just make sense and just makes the world even richer, and you're like, they thought about these things? All the details with the music and the audio and the sound effects. Yeah, it's just amazing movie with amazing message, amazing freaking soundtrack. I'm gonna say the best soundtrack of all these movies, in my opinion. You might disagree, but then you're wrong. It's just the perfect movie. It's like Prince Mononoke. It's just the perfect movie, I think. It's not my favorite, but I can still recognize what it's trying to be and respect it for what it's trying to do and see that what it's trying to do, it does pretty much flawlessly. So 10 out of 10 for me. Let's go a little bit newer again. Let's actually go with the most expensive Studio Ghibli movie ever made, The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, based on this old folklore. It's just a very sad movie and also very long and also very depressing. I don't know how many times I could ever like watch this over again, so it's not really rewatchable in that way, I think, because it's very long and it's very tiring at times, I'll be honest. Other than that, it was pretty much a perfect movie. Like, the characters were very interesting, the story was very interesting, even though it was sad. But honestly, I'm probably gonna put it like here. Yeah, like 8.5. What else? Will there be any movies that I will put like lower down the list? Because all of these movies are movies that I really enjoyed. I'm gonna go with Ocean Waves, because this was a controversial movie for me when I was watching it, because sometimes I was like, I hate these characters. I like, not all of these characters, I like the main character, but the woman, for example, I was just like, she's so manipulative. Like, I understand where she's coming from, but it's still wrong, and she's still being kind of an awful person at times. And it's just a slice of life movie. It's kind of like this life story, kind of showing people how fucked up all of our lives are, kind of like a reality check, you know. It made me appreciate my life a bit more, but the sad thing is that I also could relate to some of these characters and some of these bad moments, and I was like, damn. I really enjoyed this movie. I think it was a good movie, but also kind of ended too quickly. I would have wanted to see a bit more, which I guess could also be a good thing. I don't know. I'm just rambling on. Let's just put it to 7. Let's go with another realistic movie. I did enjoy this movie. I even teared up watching this movie, and I really liked the movie, and I think it's a good movie. But the movie that I'm talking about is The Wind Rises. I'm debating between these two, but I'm honestly probably gonna put it here. And some of you might be like, what the hell? There's so many like great moments in this movie, and it's very interesting movie, but there's also so many moments and scenes that I feel like, is this really necessary? I don't know. The main romance of the main characters was very interesting, but then also it was like kind of, some of them felt like over the top almost. I feel like 7 out of 10 is pretty fair. But with that said, let's continue. Let's go to a fantasy movie. Let's go to a world that I really love. And what I'm talking about is Arrietty. Very interesting. Like, just a great movie, dude. And I really love the world of like these small people living inside of our walls and stuff like that. It's so cool. It's not the only movie that came up with this idea of little people, you know, but it's very interesting how they made it. I love how they animated the world. Things that we see are very small in like this super large scale. I think it was very cool how they made the world look from these little people's perspective. It didn't have the biggest stakes of them all, but it was very interesting. It was very interesting how they made it, and I really enjoyed the movie from start to end, and I wish they would even do a sequel of it. So it's not the perfect movie, it's not the greatest movie, but I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna put it to 8 out of 10. Then let's go to the saddest movie of all time, for real this time. I'm not joking this time, and that's obviously Grave of the Fireflies. I mean, this movie is just depressing. And the movie takes place during World War II. The main characters are 2 kids, a big brother and a little sister, who try to survive by themselves due to different circumstances, why their family isn't there and why their parents isn't there. And it's just a depressing movie, and it just gets sadder and sadder, and there's like no glimmer of hope, or even if there is a bit of glimmer of hope, it gets faded away way too soon. It's not just a sad movie, it's borderline depressing. Okay, like, you're just gonna fall into depression watching this movie. It's very well made, but I'm never gonna watch it again unless I'm going to show it to somebody and watch it with them. I'm gonna put it here. These are not in specific order, to be honest. It's like they are on the tiers, but inside of the tiers, these are not like in specific order, so don't worry about that. Next, let's go to the movie that is one of the weirdest movies of them all, and that's obviously Howl's Moving Castle. I was just so confused for most of the movie, and even at the end I was like, I understand this movie and what's going on in this movie now. I think maybe that's gonna change when I watch it again at some point, because it feels like a rewatchable movie, and I do want to watch it again at some point. But it's not a perfect movie in my opinion. Some of you will easily probably put this to 10 out of 10, and I would understand. Some of you will probably put it to 7 out of 10. I would even understand that, or 8. I'm gonna put it to 9 out of 10, because I think it's so well made. I think the world is super interesting. Again, Studio Ghibli always makes so cool places for their movies. I just love the world building on the movies. Then we go to When Marnie Was There. Some of you might even put this 10 out of 10. This is definitely definitely an underrated movie, but I don't think it's a perfect movie. I don't think it's 10 out of 10. I will probably put it to 9 out of 10. The characters are not the most relatable to me, but I think the story is very interesting. It ended up doing what I really didn't think that it could do, which was surprise me with the ending and like how is the main character connected to this mysterious girl Mani. But it was just very heartwarming, kind of sad as well, and kind of like this bittersweet ending. From the more, I guess, more modern movies from Studio Ghibli, it was probably one of the best, if not the best. Really, really liked it. So yeah, I'm gonna put it to 9 out of 10. And then the last movie, Kiki's Delivery Service. Either this one or Princess Mononoke is my favorite Studio Ghibli movie of them all. So obviously I'm going to put it to 10 out of 10. I think it's a perfect movie. Soundtrack of the movie is amazing, especially the main score, Town with an Ocean View, I think is the name. Probably the greatest slice of life, enjoyable, happy, fun movie that I've ever watched. Good vibes throughout the movie and all the way to the end, and just leaves you with this very happy, warm feeling. I think that's the greatest thing that movie can bring to a person. I just love it when I watch a movie and at the end of the movie I'm just like, I'm so happy right now thanks to this movie. That's an amazing feeling, and that's what Kiki Delivery Service gives you every single time. And it's just such a flawless movie, like the characters, everything. I've gone through the same stuff about the other movies, but it's just a flawless movie. Undeniably deserves to be on 10 out of 10. And with that said, that is my list of Studio Ghibli movies. There you go. Obviously there's the Red Turtle that I haven't seen, but from the movies that I have rated, there you go. That's my list. And since I know that most of you guys are fuming right now about my list and movies that I put so horrendously wrong in your opinion, and if that's the case, let me know in the comments which are your favorite movies, which are your least favorite movies. You can even do your whole tier list ranking there if you want to. And again, if you did enjoy this video, hit the like button so YouTube will finally understand that maybe some people actually enjoy our little channel. And if you want to see more from us, even though I have seen all the Studio Ghibli movies, there's still gonna be a lot of other anime reactions. So if that sounds interesting, subscribe so you don't miss out on any of that future content. And if you want to see my reactions to all the Studio Ghibli movies, here is the playlist. Without further ado, I hope I'm gonna see you in the next video. But until then, have a good one. Bye. Funny thing, this tier list is a bit different than what I made in the live stream, and there you can see how easily our opinions change. So take this with a grain of salt.